Welcome back, toy fans, to Season 2 of Trey the Terrible Collector. As you know by now, my name is Trey, and I will be taking you on a terrible journey where we are going to be unboxing each and every one of the Toy Biz Uncanny X-Men action figures from the early 90s. In front of you here, you see Series 2. This particular series had 11 action figures in it. 3 of them are Wolverine. So we're going to get started with one of those. There's a whole lot going on in this series, so I'm really excited to dig into it with all of you. Lots of exciting things to talk about. New characters, some are very, very interesting, like Mr. Sinister, who I'm sure you guys remember from the cartoon. Some are not so interesting, like Banshee. But we will be digging into all of these, checking them all out, talking about the characters, talking about the toy company itself, and like always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'd be super excited to talk about some of this stuff with you in detail. Okay, if you've been tuning in from the beginning, you will remember that we started off our last season with the first iteration of Wolverine. Part of what we're going to do today is we're going to compare and contrast the two because we do have so many different versions of Wolverine that we're going to be going through. Something notable about this series, they had Marvel Dynam X written up in the upper left-hand corner. This was the only series that was written on there for. Not real sure what it was referring to, but it was a brand thing they started for a little while. In the top corner, you'll see the characters you'll see in the series: Wolverine, Iceman, Banshee, Forge, Gambit, and then there's a picture of Havoc. Havoc actually wasn't a figure that was created. I have seen box art for the prototype, but it never got around to production, so we sadly lost out on that one. We wouldn't get an X-Factor or a Havoc figure for a number of years. On the back side, you can see a little brief history of the Wolverine. Way too much about his actual past to go into on the back here, but you see the whole series. It's pretty impressive how many figures they busted out here. On the front, you've got a depiction of his costume. This is his most traditional costume, very similar to one that he first appeared in, also very similar to the one that he wore in the animated series, which came out this same year. This is one of the few characters in this particular series that took inspiration from the cartoon. They hadn't quite yet caught up from the comics. Let's go ahead and dig in. This is a really impressive blister pack here. It's in really, really good shape. So we'll go ahead and in here we've got a card from the X-Men card set. It's got a picture of the blue team of X-Men. Once we take off the over bubble, we see that Wolverine comes with a small machine gun looking situation. You'll see in this series a lot of the characters get guns, and they don't always make sense. Let's go ahead and take Wolverine out here. Okay. Very cool. So Wolverine has articulation both in the shoulders and wrists of both arms. His power is a slashing attack motion. He's got a little thumb hold, and that makes him able to kind of attack with his claws. His head rotates. Really cool sculpt, really good looking. His hips and knees bend. His hips are very tight, but very cool sculpt. The detail on the boots is very nice. The detail on the shoulders and the cowl itself. These claws, unlike the previous version, don't stay in. They kind of like spring out when you push them in. Not quite as cool as the other ones, but it does allow him to bend at the elbow, which is a very nice touch. I'm going to grab the other one here now. So this is Series 1, as opposed to Series 2. Season 2 is a little bit bigger. The claws are bent, as where the first one, they're very straight. This one has the removable helmet, which is a nice touch. This one obviously is in one piece. There are a couple of little details about the sculpt of this one that I like a little bit better. For example, can't really get in here close enough, but he's got arm hair like sculpted into his actual mold. It's very kind of cool. And he's also ugly. Like at this point in the comics, Wolverine was still depicted as almost more beast than man. Definitely had kind of like an animal attraction to him, but not an attractive person. He hadn't yet morphed into the Hugh Jackman character that we have gotten in the movies and all that. So definitely still a runt, still kind of funny looking. This one is more similar to the character that we got in the cartoons, and this one is a lot more similar to what was going on in the Chris Claremont comics at the time. Overall, very, very cool figure. Definitely stands up nicely compared to the other one. So, we've got our X-Men card, and that's going to lead us right into our... For today's fun fact, I thought it would be cool to talk about Toy Biz themselves. Toy Biz started as a Canadian company in the 80s. Shortly thereafter, they moved to the States and started picking up a bunch of licenses. They had a DC Comics license, as well as exclusive rights to Batman for the 1989 movie starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. And then they eventually picked up an exclusive Marvel license. This led to them producing Spider-Man, Marvel superheroes, Fantastic Four, as well as all the X-Men ones you see here. Interestingly, they were able to argue in court that the mutant heroes were not actually humans, and therefore they could get away with paying less taxes to import them and export them out of the country. Okay, the more you know. Thank you guys so much for checking back in. It has been really fun starting this second series with you guys. I do love the way the Toy Biz kind of grew from the first series into the second. A lot more playability involved, a little more forethought when it comes to how the accessories fit in with the characters. Very cool, very dynamic. Looking forward to digging into the rest of these with you guys, and I'm also looking forward to hearing from you. So please like, subscribe, and comment if you guys have any questions. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to answer them in the next episode. But until then, y'all have been wonderful. I have been terrible, and I'll see you again soon.